So today in class, we looked a little bit at how to use time management to get through the learning pathway effectively. And that's kind of a difficult thing in 7th grade, is learning to manage your own time. And so we kind of looked at how that plays out within the learning pathway so that students could see that it's definitely doable to get through the pathway in the allotted time. So I just kind of wanted to share with you the same thing that I shared with them. So this is pathway 1C, and the wrap-up day for 1C is tomorrow. And when we create a pathway, so you can see at the top of this one, this pathway had 3 skills. And so we basically allot 2 days per skill. So this is a 6-day pathway. And within the pathway, you have a video lesson, which is in Edpuzzle, and that you could ask your child to see their Edpuzzle account, and they can show you the video lessons. Those video lessons are usually about 12 minutes. So when we're talking about time management, for the sake of making the math easy, I said let's just say that's about 15 minutes for the video lesson. Within the video lesson, there are 4 questions that are embedded that students answer as they're watching the video lesson. So I said let's just say that you take about 5 minutes per question, so that's 20 minutes to answer the questions. So we said to complete a video lesson, you're looking at about 35 minutes. After a video lesson, I am monitoring that during class, and so students who struggle with a video lesson, I can either work one-on-one with them, or I'll pull a small group and work with several students at once. But I sort of use how well they did on the video lesson questions. That's what drives my instruction as far as small group instruction or one-on-one instruction goes. So that's that pink box that you see. And then they do 4 skill check questions. Those are in Schoology, so you could also ask your child to show you their skill checks, and you'd be able to see how they did. You can even see the actual questions and then the answer choices that your child selected. And there are 4 of those questions, so I told them, okay, let's assume it takes you 5 minutes per question, so that would be 20 minutes. So then we talked about 15 plus 20 is 35, plus another 20 is 55. So we talked about, it's about 55 minutes to get through a lesson. It might be another 5 or 10 minutes on top of that, depending upon if I need to work with that student one-on-one or in a small group. But we said it basically 55 minutes, and then you're repeating that same process for the other 2 skills. And then Master Blaster, the students always have what we call Master Blaster, which is just 5 review questions. Those are also in Schoology, and you would be able to see those if you just asked your child to pull up their Master Blaster. You'd be able to see the questions and then their responses. That's 5 questions, so we said let's assume you spend about 5 minutes per question. That's 25 minutes, and there's just one set of Master Blaster questions. That's why that box goes all the way across the page. There's not a Master Blaster for each lesson. It's just one Master Blaster for the whole pathway. So that should take about 25 minutes. And now here's how the points work. So students earn 30 points for watching the video lesson. They earn 5 points apiece for each question they answer correctly. And they earn 5 points apiece for each skill check question they answer correctly. So that's a possible 70 points right there. Then the Master Blaster questions, they earn 2 points apiece for each one they answer correctly. So that's another possible 10. And with the Master Blaster points, let's say they earn all 10 of those points. They're getting those on their 1 6th grade, their 1 7th grade, and their 1 8th grade. So you can see how Master Blaster, as well as all the menu board items, you can see how those cut all the way across the page. And so I tell the students that's because those points go in all 3 of these grade spots. So any points you earn on Master Blaster or on a menu board item, you get those points in all 3 grades. So if you just did the video lesson and the video lesson questions and the skill check and the Master Blaster, that's a possible 80 points. So I kind of call that the bare minimum. You're setting yourself up to make at most 80 points if you do just those. Okay, so now you kind of see the point breakdown and then the time breakdown for the things that are there on the top of the learning pathway. So what I would call the bare minimum, or kind of the essential part of the learning pathway. And again, that would set a student up for a maximum of 80 points. And then when they come down here to the menu board, and different students choose to do this different ways. Some students like to completely address the top part of the pathway first, and then come to the menu board, which is a pretty wise choice because then you have kind of the most important, the essential part of your pathway done. But other students like to bounce back and forth, which is also fine because the things on the menu board kind of give them a little bit of a break or something different to do, because the menu board things tend to be more hands-on, or things where you're up and around the room or working with a partner, so it kind of breaks it up a little bit, and some students do better with that. So that's really kind of part of the beauty of the whole this whole format, is that it gives them some choice, and it gives them some ownership over their own learning. So then on the menu board, you can see there are several different choices, and these are, again, all choices. So the pathway is not something where they're expected to do everything on the menu board. Now, I would say the things at the top, yes, they're expected to do all of those things. But then the menu board, then they're choosing which of these things do I want to do to then add to my point total. And you can see that out here, it tells them how many points each of these menu board tasks are worth. The ones that are worth 10 points are obviously tasks that take a little more time than the ones that are 5 points. They can kind of pick and choose which ones of these that they do. And then those points, so let's, for example, say that a student does electric slide, and they do it completely correctly, and they get all 5 points. Those 5 points would get added to the 1 6th grade, the 1 7th grade, and the 1 8th grade. So Master Blaster and everything on the menu board, those are points that get added in all 3 grades. So if you were to add all that up, you'll see that it's well more than 100 possible points. So some kids look at it as kind of a cushion, so they'll do things that total more than 100 points, and that way they know if they miss a question on the video lesson, or they missed a Master Blaster question, that they've kind of given themselves a little bit of a cushion. So some students will do it that way. Some students just shoot for a target number of points, and that's fine as well. And then I keep track of those points as we go. So throughout the course of the 6 days, I'm keeping track of video lesson points and skill check points and Master Blaster points, and so that I can able to check in with students and kind of let them know where they are as far as point totals go. So then I looked at with the students. I told them, so that was a 6-day pathway, and our class periods are 46 minutes apiece. So, we just did some simple math. We said, okay, 46 minutes for 6 days. That's 276 minutes. And then we literally went back and added up all of these times and compared it to the total time that they spend in class. And they were able to see that it is definitely very manageable to complete your pathway and get a really solid number of points within those 6 class days without having to do anything at home. Now, students are always welcome to watch video lessons at home. They can work on skill checks, Master Blasters. They can do that at home if they choose. I have a lot of students who kind of get in the habit of watching video lessons at home when they get a chance. That then frees them up in class to give them more time to ask me questions or get some help. So some students do choose to do that. However, I tell the kids, I want you to be able to go home and relax and be a kid. So we set the pathway up so that it's definitely manageable to complete within the allotted number of days. However, if students want to work on any tasks at home, they're certainly welcome to do that. So I hope that kind of clears up how students are expected to navigate through the pathway. It kind of gives you an idea of what they should be thinking as far as time management goes. So they get a hard copy of this pathway. I tell them to have it out every day, use it as a checklist, and so they can kind of get in the habit of leaving class and knowing, okay, today I accomplished these tasks, and tomorrow I want to work on these tasks. So they can kind of set little short-term goals for themselves. So that in addition to learning math, they're hopefully also learning some great time management skills. So I hope that helps to clear up point totals and then sort of how this plays out over time. If you have any questions, definitely email or call me. I would love to sit down and go through this with you. You're welcome to come to the classroom anytime, and I can kind of show you how this plays out in the actual classroom. Hope that helps, and have a great day.